Is it going? Okay, hey parents, we wanted to show a math video today that you can use at home when you are talking about subtraction as comparison. And so this is kind of a sample problem that will be actually in your work on Monday. But I want you to kind of track with us on how I'm helping us identify what exactly we're doing when we subtract as with comparison. So we have a story on the board, and it says here, Emma collected animal cards. She has how many? Seven zebras and 3 chickens. How many more zebras are there than chickens? Now, I don't want the answer. First of all, I want you and your students to identify when you're doing a story problem. What in this problem, what language is telling me that I'm going to need to compare these two numbers?
How many?
How many, everybody say this with me?
More.
How many more zebras are there than chickens? So that language lets your student know that we are now what? We are comparing. We're comparing. Good job, Barrett. How many more? And the problem doesn't leave us hanging. It tells us exactly what to compare, doesn't it? Let's see, look up here. What does it want us to compare? Zebras and chickens. You can underline that too. Zebras and chickens. Now, I sent out a video the other day that had our little saying on it. When we find the difference, or I really like when we compare. So when we compare two numbers, eyes on me. When we compare two numbers, we always use subtraction. I'm not going to add these two numbers, am I? I'm comparing them, so I'm not going to add them. We always use subtraction. So I know I'm going to have a number, I'm going to have a subtraction sign, another number, an equal sign, and then the answer. Now, when we subtract, say with me, we always put the
bigger number
at the beginning. What's the bigger number out of 7 and 3?
7.
7. So my 7 zebras goes here. Can they still see the board, Malachi? And then my 3 chickens goes here. Now, if you want to get out manipulatives with your child, you can. We've got 7 zebras. You can line them up. And how many chickens, friends? 3. Now this, when you use manipulatives, your child can easily see the difference with these lower numbers. Class, what's the difference here? 7 and 3, what's the difference? 4. This right here is the difference, isn't it? How many more? Well, there's 4 more. However, when they get to the bigger numbers, let's say this was 17 and 3, then they probably are going to need, when they subtract here, they need to go back to their subtraction method. 17, I put it into a group of 10 and 7. What I do here, circle up the 10 and the
3.
and I subtract. I gotta know my math facts. 10, take away 3, leaves me with 7. And then I add that 7. Did I do that right?
7 and 3.
7, and I add that back together. Yes, Miss Pope's losing her marbles this morning. 7 and 7 is 14. So I'm just showing you, when they get to comparing the bigger numbers, they're probably going to have to go to a subtraction method, and that's okay. But for now, I wanted you in your work on Monday to underline this language. How many more? It might say how many more, or friends, it'll say how many fewer than or less than. So pay attention to that language. Make sure you underline it. When we compare numbers, we always subtract, and the bigger number always goes what? First. Good job.